Welcome to Strange Tales from Outer Space.
Oh my god.
You're a total ass nugget, dude. Why can't you just sit up straight and be a professional?
I thought I had timed it better than that, where I could sit up. And
I counted it out.
3,
It
2,
takes a
and then you
bit. I
just
almost fell out of my. I almost fell out of my chair. Hi guys. This is Doc, and we'll do this again. Welcome to Strange Tales
Hey,
from Outer Space.
that's
Episode
much better.
39. Go suck a duck.
Wow. Wow, I don't think that's appropriate to tell our guests.
I think he was
telling
talking
you.
to specifically you, yeah.
Oh.
You. Anyway, my name is Doc, and I have two awesome co-hosts with me, and every week we go over the
Now
news.
we're awesome. Just a second ago, I was sucking a duck. So,
I can take that away from you. Anyway,
sorry, keep
every
going.
week,
Keep
the
going.
three of us love to go over the news that was, the news that might be, and any cool community news that happens in the world of WildStar Online. As always, I have my awesome co-hosts, Krug.
Hi, I'm Krug, and I am awesome co-host number 1. That's right. I'm number 1.
And the one who's sucking duck this week.
Indigo.
How you guys doing?
I'm going good, actually. Very good.
So, Indigo, let's start off with you. How was your week this week?
My week was actually really awesome. I want to tell a very, very funny story about you and me PvPing this week. So-
you and me together.
So because we're both 50, Krug, we've been...
I'm sorry, it's not my fault anymore. It's now Rabid's responsibility to get me to level 50.
Oh my
Please direct all complaints to Rabid. That she'll help you out with that.
Anyways, so Doc and I are 50, and so we are PvPing a ton. And so I get a private message from Baz, like he's like, "Hey man, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh dude, you're in game. You should queue up with us. We're in a game right now, but you should join us." Well, funny enough, he actually was in the same game we were in, and the only reason I know that is because someone in chat goes, "Oh my god, are you the Bazil?" And we started dying on vents. Oh my god, we were laughing.
It was just 3 lines. OMG. The Bazil?
It was so funny because we just started berating him and harassing him as soon as he got on vent. We're like, "Oh my god, is it the Bazil that's on vent right now? Oh my god, you're so
But here's the thing,
amazing."
we don't think of Baz as Baz as the Bazil. We just think of him as Baz.
Yeah.
Which just blew our mind that someone was like,
It was the most amazing thing ever.
Honestly, no matter what we think of Baz as, the fact that anybody says to Baz is weird.
I still laugh at you two too.
Yeah. Oh my god, are you the Krug? Krug?
I've been recognized in game before. It's a weird experience, and I don't really know how I feel about it. At least so far, it hasn't been, "Ew, you're Krug, that guy from that podcast that anything is a total asshole." Now, I've had people talk to me about the podcasting game. It's kind of nice to know that people
really fun,
listen
actually.
and to play the game at the same time. It's good.
The second really funny thing that happened to me this week is, again, PvPing in WildStar, running around, and Daggerstone Pass popped. And I was like, "Oh, sweet, this is
What's
awesome."
Daggerstone Pass?
That is exactly what everyone was saying. They're like, "What the hell map is this? Is this Drop 5? Did someone release Drop 5 early?" I was just like, "Oh man."
Isn't that the silliest thing? People are just like, "Oh, this is Drop 5 content." Like, really? Are you that out of touch?
Well, here's the thing. One of the dailies this week was do 2 Daggerstone Pass matches. We queued specifically for Daggerstone Pass, and it didn't pop.
Yeah. But it popped on random, and it was awesome. It was great. I've been PvPing so much in game, it's not even funny. Like I've been having a major blast in the game, and I've been playing way more than I've been playing in the past, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So that's my week. What about you, Krug? How was your week?
I should have gone first because this is anticlimactic.
Krug, how was your week?
I did this thing. So I work, and one of the buildings that my job owns is a warehouse. So I was in this warehouse setting some stuff up, and I took my phone out, and I dropped it. And I tried to catch it, and in the process of catching it, I basically, swiped at it, and so it had, I just spun it, basically, in the air. And it landed on the ground, and it shattered. The screen just shattered into a jillion pieces, and then the screen actually, like, the entire screen part separated from the rest of the phone, so they were two different pieces. So needless to say, my phone broke. So I went into the Apple Store because I have an iPhone, and I was like, hey, I need a new phone. They were like, what happened? I told them some bullshit about how, like, a forklift dropped like a fork on it or something like that. And they were like, oh, that sucks. I had a jailbroken phone. This is a little side for those of you with iPhones that jailbreak and are, like, worried about warranty stuff. I took it in, like, with the jailbreak still there because I didn't want to play with it, and you know, it was in multiple pieces. There's a battery in there. I don't even want it on. And they were like, okay, we have to turn it on to wipe it. And I was like, okay, your call. Yeah, if I don't take any responsibility for what happens after this point. So I turned it on, and they see my notifications, which look weird because I have a special jailbroken thing that handles notifications for me. And they were like, oh, that's so cool. What is that? And I'm like, it's a jailbreak. And they're like, oh, don't even worry about that. It's a hardware issue. We're not going to, like, knock you for jailbreaking. It's like, yes, awesome. And then we sat there for like 10 minutes going over all the cool jailbreak things that I have. It was adorable. So my phone broke. My authenticator was on my phone. And so I couldn't get on for a while, but it's fixed now. So today, tomorrow night, I'll be on Wildstar.
And wait. Oh, you have to thank someone as well.
Thank whom?
Rabid for going around and leveling with you.
We did that last week.
Did you thank her?
Yeah, last week.
Okay.
I thought we talked about it last week. If I didn't talk about this
well, your voice got an extra octave higher, so I don't know if it's true or not.
That's what happens when people put me on blast, all right? I don't need to do that. Yeah, last week it was really fun. I was leveling with Rabid for a long time, and it was really fun. And also, we didn't introduce our other two guests, which are Dog and Dog, the two most annoying dogs. So
leave my dogs alone.
Color commentary is provided later.
Also, one last thing about this week. I'm currently at Indigo's place, which is very, very strongly smelling of bacon. So if I start drooling in the middle of the episode, it's because it smells like bacon in here.
Oh my god, I'd kill to be in a place like that right now.
I may have cooked 8 slices of bacon this morning, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Doc, how was your week?
My week was really busy. I ended up getting a raise at work, so I got a new office at work.
What?
Now
Tell me this.
I can't play games anymore when I work.
Oh.
Wait, can you tell us what your new title is?
No, I'm still IT. They're just having me. They're giving me like an extra little bit of stuff that's kind of trivial, but it's giving me a lot of hassle because of just stuff you don't want to hear about. That part's literally just little pieces of crap. Let's see. So I can't wait to play at work.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have some extra work outside of work. I can't play many games this week. I did PvP with Indigo, and then I went to WonderCon.
Yeah.
And I literally just got back for like 2 hours ago from WonderCon, and I got this awesome Baymax hat.
Are you saying Betamax? What is that? Explain, please. I know we're in the middle of the podcast. I just want to know.
Because you've asked about 10 times before the podcast, and he did not answer.
But you've never seen Big Hero 6?
No.
Baymax. Baymax.
Bay, as in like hashtag Bay.
Oh, fuck you.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
Anyway, okay. I'll make it quick because we have stuff to go over.
Yeah,
but it was a phenomenal weekend. I went Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, I ran into Samwise from Blizzard. He had a booth. He takes WonderCon off every year, and he has a booth. And it's just him and Christine, and they have all his art. I got to talk to him for like 10, 15 minutes because no one knew he was there. And he told me this new story he's working on about a dwarf that's like stranded in the future of elves. It was really funny, and he's such a cool guy. Like a minute after that, I ran into Stan Sakai, who, for those of you who don't know, is the creator of Usagi Yojimbo, one of the best running indie comics I've ever read, and you should all go read it. He sketched me a drawing, which is on the back of my wall now. It's amazing. I got to do a whole bunch of cool stuff. Sunday, I have a friend who got a booth this year, and she needs someone to help her out with scheduling and money and all that kind of stuff and help her run stuff. So I sat in and I just started sketching for fun because that's what I do. I do design and I draw. She started passing people to me. Like legitimately saying, oh, well, I'm busy at the moment, but talk to my friend. He draws too. I'm like, I didn't come here to draw and it's not my booth, so I don't think I can take money. They don't care. I literally start getting commissions at a booth that's not even mine. I got to run a Comic-Con booth for like 5 hours.
Nice.
That's really awesome.
I got to meet one of the animators from How to Train Your Dragon, and he follows me on Facebook already.
Which is weird.
Which is weird. And that's oh my god, I'm just at a loss for words. And as I leave, one of the guys from WonderCon says, "Here, take this, fill it out, return it." And it's one of their first come, first serve. It's not registration officially, but your name is now in the hat. You get the first emails when WonderCon comes back next year to get your own booth. So now I might have to actually get a booth next year and actually do art and print stuff out and stuff. And stuff.
So Krug and I have to get tickets and harass you. Got it.
Yep,
Possibly.
absolutely.
And I got my PvP guns, which were awesome because now I'm melting through stuff. Oh. Come on now. Anyway, that is it for that's it for our week's in WildStar. And I do art. And this week we're going over the strange tales of the week. And to start it all off, we're going to get into another heated topic amongst every gaming community, not just our own. And it is the dreaded 3-letter word LFR. And specifically,
Looking for Rabbit? She's in chat. Next topic. Krug solves everything. Go Krug. Woohoo!
looking for raid.
Oh.
Those of you that don't know.
Gotcha.
Yes. So every game has some kind of a looking for group mechanic. We have that with the randoms and the queues. For raids, we don't have that right now. It's just Datascape and Genetic Archives.
Mm-hmm.
So Time Travel literally asked in the forums, I'm going, quote, "I'm curious, for folks in favor of LFR, what are you looking for?" He has a list of some ideas and some points that he's seen in other games before, and what do we want, or what would we like? And people are starting to reply to that quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, as I've last checked this moment, we've got 28 pages of replies.
Oh my god, it's absurd.
And these aren't just people yelling, "Make it free to play." They're
No, these are legitimate comments. These are great.
Yeah, it's quite awesome. If you've not seen this yet, follow the link and throw in your 2 cents, because as they've already talked about with the city stuff with Cadium, we've already proven that these guys are listening. And LFR, some people are really mixed on it. I know Krug doesn't have much experience with LFR in games, considering this is his first true MMO.
Correct.
I believe Indigo's had some experience with an LFR mechanic in some games. What do you guys think about it? As a person who's never tried it and a person who has had experience with it.
Let me go first because mine's probably going to include questions. So from what I understand, this is exactly the way that the dungeon queue thing would work, except for with a larger group of people.
Essentially,
yeah.
You would queue for the content you want, and then you simply have a timer, just like you're queuing for a PvP battleground or a group.
Right. So, with the kind of complexity of those instances with raids, whether it's no matter which one we're talking about, the coordination is really important. So, if something like that were to happen, one, I don't think it would be correct to start. Like if there's a timer in those instances for specific achievements, that timer would have to start after the group left a certain area so that they can have time to like all get into the same voice chat. Really, ideally, what I would say is that it should be enabled in-game, voice chat in-game for pugs, but I don't think that's feasible. So at the very least, don't start any timers until they leave a specific area so they have time to kind of coordinate themselves. Also, it's just kind of like complex mechanics that people that are good at them would only do them with people they trust. So I feel like it might be kind of frustrating for people to wait for that thing to pop. Those are really my 2 thoughts. Like, you have to give them a chance to get organized, give people a chance to kind of figure out what's going on, what their role is, who the leader is. That's kind of difficult. How do you figure out who's leading the raid if you just have a bunch of people? And once they're done with all that, then allow them to start the instance, after a specific amount of time. And then the other thing is,
these all sound like more questions than they are like opinions about what how you feel about the implementation of it.
That's what they are, because I have no opinions on how to implement it until I know how these questions are answered.
So at least when I was playing WoW, LFR, the way it worked is you already had a core group of people, so it's like you had a small guild, and you didn't have the total number of people that you wanted to get, but you had a core amount. So for example, let's just say
you queued with like 15 people.
Yeah, and you
pug the last 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
And so you would pug the last 5, you would run through, or for example, say you have a group of 20, and your 20th person for some reason got baby aggro or girlfriend aggro and has to go away, and you now are down.
Girlfriend aggro.
Yeah.
Or wife aggro.
Or wife aggro, depending
or boyfriend or husband aggro.
Yeah, or wife or husband. I shouldn't be sexist. That was my fault. I apologize.
The old term is called girlfriend aggro.
Yeah. So, I think I killed Krug. Have you never heard that before?
Sorry, no, that's the best thing ever.
You've never heard BRB Cat on Fire?
I'm sorry, I just derailed the whole podcast with my laughing. I'm so sorry, that's so funny.
We have to eventually go over some awesome stuff we've heard or said during a raid or a group that we dropped out of.
I'm so sorry.
So life aggro is a good updated term. I agree. Life aggro.
Life aggro.
Okay, so you have your you have your aggro, and you lose one of your players. Well,
Sure.
you now have 19 people that want to do this raid. And
And you're just missing one person, so LFR is the easiest way to fix it. Were there ever situations where you were in a complete pug for a raid like that?
No.
No.
At least for me. I mean,
Okay,
there was.
that's fair.
I mean, even with a 40-man or something like that, like it was still at least like 5 people that were like, "Hey, we're gonna start this,"
Sure.
and then they pugged the rest. And I'll tell you this, it didn't go well.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, I can see how like replacing a couple people in an instance wouldn't be harmful, but having like literally 20 people that don't know each other would suck.
And no communication other than group chat. I mean, there is definitely issues in that sense when you pug people, but it allows you to go through the content that you weren't able to go through. And as a solo player, a lot of the time, because the 3 of us like play in different hours, it benefits someone like us where we can sit there and go like, I really want to hit this content. I'm not really in a guild, or I'm not really like, pushing to do this, but I'd really love to see raid content, and that you've already done your attunement. Attunement in itself is a whole nother conversation or argument that needs to happen. But I like the idea of having LFR. Mind you, I think LFR should have like multi-tier queuing. So like I should be able to tier PvP and looking for raid, because that's going to be like hour, 2 hour, like 3 hour.
So like queue for both of them at the same time, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like I'm going to be able to get like 5 or 6 games of PvP before LFR is going to pop. You know what I mean? So
yeah, multi-queue would be awesome in general. I'd like to be able to. I know if the queue times for PvP are going to be roughly 20 minutes, I can at least try and jump into 2 or 3 ship hands while I wait.
Yeah.
Although that gets tough to handle, because at that point you've kind of committed to finishing this instance, and what if you still have like 20 minutes left in something and your other queue pops? You kind of, either the game is asking you to ditch the people you're with, or the game just doesn't give you the option. You've just missed your queue and you have to start the queue over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
It can get frustrating for a lot of different people. Anyways,
so you're feeling on it, Indigo?
Yeah,
I'm 100% down. 100% down.
Yeah, I gotta have to agree that I'm personally okay with an LFR. I know people are like, well, they don't know how to do the content.
That's the whole point of having it, though.
Yeah, that is the point of having it. And here's the thing. Attunement's one thing. That's, like I said, another discussion. My thought is we already have this kind of issue with dungeons, veteran dungeons. When you don't know the dungeon or a brand new dungeon, it's kind of sink or swim.
Yeah.
And the only difference is you have 5 people versus 20, so the possibility of detrimenting 19 other people's time and effort is a lot more. Do
you feel that, with a 20-man raid and you have one guy that's effing the entire team up, to me it's not sink or swim, it's, all right, kick that guy and let's see the next guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's actually what's nice about that. If LFR, you're going to have to sacrifice time for it, theoretically, and you can still technically progress. I mean, people go link dead all the time. Well, not much anymore, but I remember doing raids where people would go link dead in the middle of the raid, and now you're like, okay, well, crap, keep going. We'll get him back afterwards, or maybe mid-fight he'll reconnect, or something like that. Taking stuff like healing leaders or a raid leader it's probably like an option you can check before, but I am okay with it because, like I said, the sink or swim mentality is going to help a lot of players where you can't just jerk around and go, I'm doing damn, oh, I'm dead. Because no one's going to really push for that, and it'll be a short streak of, oh my god, this is horrible, why are we carrying this POS, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
After a month or two, it's like, okay, these people are really going for it. They want to progress, they want the orange gear, because there's only one style of difficulty right now. They're going to definitely go for it, I would think. I mean, this community has shown that if the average player is faced with a roadblock, they're pretty good about overcoming it.
So I like to say that everyone rises to the occasion, or at least attempts to.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, not everyone, but most people.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what else. Most of us.
Most of us.
I'm really curious as to how they implement LFR. I do like the multi-queue idea, but
it sounds like we're about to move on, but I kind of want to hit one more thing on this before we move on.
Any questions you have in case for something that we might not have thought of or covered?
Not really a question, but it's just Time Travel asked some specific questions in his post, and I'm kind of curious as to what your questions are, or what your responses are. So his post is, I'm curious, for folks in favor of LFR, what are you looking for? And then he gives three different choices. Very low barrier to entry, i.e. forgiving difficulty, limited time investment, minimal organizational requirements for large group content, or a pass to see the lore and story characters in the raid zones or raid quality loot. So are you looking for a place to spend time that isn't going to demand all of your time, or are you looking to, progress the story, or are you looking just to get the loot so you can have the loot? And then if you chose very low barrier to entry, he asked two other questions, and these are the two questions I kind of want your opinions on.
Okay.
What would you view as a reasonable limited time investment? And which of those three is the largest turnoff for you? So is it the difficulty, the time required, or the organization required?
Go ahead first.
Doc, do you want to go first?
Oh, okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
So for me, the low barrier to entry.
So what would you view as a limited time investment? Like what would you say
have to at least get attunement down?
But like per instance, what do you think is a reasonable amount of time?
They're talking about for LFR. They're not talking about overall game change.
Yeah. Okay. So for someone who's in LFR but they don't, it's not like a raider. Yeah.
So my expectation, if I'm doing LFR, would be like if I can get a boss down a night in a reasonable amount of time, 3 hours or so. If you're taking into consideration multiple wipes, resetting everybody else up, that kind of felt like an average for LFR stuff and other MMOs. 3 hours. Because these are hard bosses, and you have a lot of coordination between people. So having that time, if I can go into LFR knowing I'm going to spend an evening taking down a boss, 2 to 3 hours sounds like a pretty decent investment for LFR.
Across the board for people using LFR, expecting them to stay in whatever instance for 3 hours is reasonable?
Yeah, it seems reasonable, especially since most raiding hours for other raids, for raid guilds, seem to be that, like, hey, we're going for X89 tonight. We're going to spend 2 hours or so, because we're going to probably wipe a few times if we have a successful run.
Sure.
And even if not a successful run, knowing I wouldn't consider it a bad investment of time if you don't complete the boss in LFR.
Yeah, and you get to just learn how to
complete. Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah. That makes sense.
As for turn-offs, I don't really have any for it.
So the difficulty or time or organization required for a raid?
The organization could actually be a turn-off. I take that back. Organization could be a turn-off if you have people who are going to be really nitpicky or really gung-ho about it, and they're just not taking cooperation or communication constructively.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the same page. Like, the organization is really the huge problem with it.
That's
because
something I would
it takes personalities to be cohesive to get something like that to work.
Or don't even give them the option. The option's simply when you sign up for LFR, give them checkmark boxes. Are you going to be healing, DPSing, or tanking? Okay, once you checkmark that box. Are you okay with being a raid lead? Yes or no? Just click the box if yes.
There's no way to get them to respect that. There's no way to get
that's very true.
19 people to respect this randomly generated raid leader. Like,
that is very true. But if you are able to select the raid lead, the game is under the assumption of you feel like you are skilled enough and are able to communicate well enough to take on that responsibility.
I would say
I wouldn't.
80% of the people that click that button will not have the personality required to perform that role.
Possibly, but personally, as my own player, I would never click that kind of a prerequisite.
Yeah,
I don't believe
neither would
it.
I would only allow you to click that if you've done the content before. I mean,
That's
good,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
And
I mean, for me, the
It's a
biggest,
raid babysitter at that point.
yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, but the thing is, you might want to go through a raid multiple times because you didn't get the drop. You
Yeah.
wanted.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it
So-
shouldn't be. I'm just making a joke. Jeez.
But even for
Not funny.
what's the other two? The hypocrisy of me being, if I'm going into LFR specifically, I don't care about the lore at that point. I don't want to hear the story. I want to go for the challenge. I want to make sure that I can pull my weight in a raid, and I want to make sure that I can work with a team in a raid. If we're only going with one difficulty, multiple difficulties is a different story. But I would do it for simply the loot and to know that I could do it, and then move on and progress. When I get into a raid group or guild, then I want to go back there and go, oh, I want to collect the books. Oh, I want to see the cutscenes. But for LFR, I want to go right into it.
I think you and I changed brains for a night.
What?
I would, yeah.
That's okay because you're both kind of dumb. So
Oh,
it's really a wash at this point.
Indigo, your turn.
so for me, it's the organization. That's a huge turnoff because the thing is, the organization, that one encompasses the other two. So as an organizer, you have to organize, and you have to spend a tremendous amount of time out of game organizing and reading up and finding what's going on with the bosses and stuff like that, as well as understanding what's going to be beneficial for you. I think organization is difficult, and I think adding LFR allows those people who don't want to deal with that aspect, aka the three of us.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, but you better damn well believe if I'm going through there, I'm going to be watching the lore videos. I'm going to try to collect the books. I'm not going to read the books, but I'm definitely going to collect them because it's a thing I can click on. But no, I mean, if I'm going through a raid, I'm definitely going to watch it. It's like, I don't know how often I'm going to be able to go through this content. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely want to see these cutscenes, and I want to see what's going on, and I want to progress the story a little bit better than I have in the past. Lore is awesome, but honestly, the biggest thing is organization. I don't want to be the person that organizes it. Just don't have the time. I don't have the energy, and I don't have the patience to be able to do that. And it's a fault of my own, and I get it, but there are people that are out there that do it and are good at it. And if they're willing to allow a pug to come in for a couple slots, and again, I really do think that it's not going to be full-on 20-man pugs. I mean, it's possible. It could happen. I'm really thinking it's going to be 10, 15-man person groups that want to get to this content and are willing to pug the last couple guys. And, you know, as for the time restraints, 3 or 4 hours is not casual gaming. That's a serious time investment.
That's a commitment.
Doing. And not only that, how long are you
like if I were to do a 3-hour session when I got home, I'd be going to bed at like 11 o'clock.
Okay.
And I mean, yes, gamers go to bed late, but I have a job, I have a long commute. I don't go to bed late normally. So that, like, for someone in my situation, and I'm sure there are plenty of other people in my situation with, you know, long commutes, get home late, go to work early, it's not possible. It's just 3 hours is not a legitimate request. And I mean, that might exclude me from raiding. Like, if there's any type of genre that would exclude people, it's MMOs. Like that, it's just, sometimes you can't do it. And right now I can't do it. So that's kind of like, I think 3 hours is legitimate, but not for casuals, but I don't think casuals really get to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
So
I'm going to move though.
I honestly, if
One
we're
day.
going into LFR though, I would like to see multiple difficulties to go with it.
You think?
I would personally like to see it. That's just me though. Because there are some issues with it, and especially if you're going to have more than one raid, you're going to have the boss in the box, like Chad has mentioned. I think this might be eventually a good time to start going into that.
So what's the next thing of the day?
I think we should get into.
Yeah, we've already had a weird swap there of like lore.
Yeah.
Because now Indigo likes lore.
I like videos.
Damn it.
And audio.
So we have a promotion in Carbine, and ready your pitchforks if you like for the future, so you know the name, or give the guy a fair shake. Hail the Jin is taking over as the Battlegrounds domain owner. So in other words,
by the way, anyone else think it was funny that they did it on April 1st?
Yeah, that was silly.
It could be like the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool thing. It doesn't have to be a joke. In this case, it's not.
I'm not saying that it has to be a joke, but like I noticed that they did multiple promotions on that day and like moved people around within Carbine on that day specifically, and I was like, this is weird. Is this a joke?
Well, let's see. His favorite hobbies are archery, yo-yo, and replica armor weaponry.
Oh, that's cool.
Weapon armory collections.
Like a dog, I know how to talk.
Bacon, which is
Yes.
always good.
Yes.
And his
Did you
spirit
see-
animal is Vegeta.
Did I didn't read that part. Did you see Time Travel's post right after that?
Bacon Wizard!
Wizard!
Sorry. So Hilvagen is going to help take over all the battleground stuff. If you have any questions for him, his Twitter is CRB Hilvagen. Please keep them polite, professional, and constructive. If you have an issue with those things, then go shove off. But if you want to see battlegrounds get better, he's the guy you want to talk to now in the forums and Twitter. Yes, Indigo.
When are we gonna see the snow battlegrounds?
Hilvagen, answer that question.
Post it in the forums.
Hold on, I'm waiting.
No, that's God damn it. Move on.
Anyway, we're going to move on from there.
There is silence. Please move on.
All we hear is lore.
Yeah.
The Discovery of Nexus came out this week. And because I've been so busy, I actually didn't really get to read most of this lore. But we are pretty much catching up to ground zero from where the game is.
Yeah, we're
at
almost done
point
with
in
this
time.
timeline, aren't we? We only have one
Yeah.
more little bubble.
This timeline is almost done. We have the Discovery of Nexus in 1658 AE. And this one's going to follow... Oh my god, what is his name again? I forgot. Dorian Walker. There we go. It's pretty much the Exiles' last chance, last grasp at getting into... finding some way to survive because people are low on fuel, they're low on oxygen, they can't go much further. The Dominion might just right out win this war if just based on attrition.
Mm-hmm.
They're on their last legs, and if you follow the lore at all, or if you kind of loosely know Nexus by playing the game or by hearing about it, this last-ditch effort ends up being beneficial to them and horrible for everybody else that touches foot on Nexus from here on out. So, give that one a read. I'm going to definitely read a little more when I'm done, because we've realized real quickly in this game that it's a dark place. This whole universe is a very dark place to be in. It's not just because we have rainbows and Anniversary Aroused Hour that are plastered with candy doesn't make the story...
Spoilers? God. Ugh.
Doesn't mean it's any less dangerous and any less holy fuck shit, this is dark.
Holy fuck shit, this is dark.
Dark. Since you two probably have no honest input on this, I'm just going to move on from there.
Okay.
No, actually, I wanted to ask a question, and this isn't really anything any of us can answer. But did anyone fix the whole dead eye, left eye being messed up, and it was really the right eye? You know, the thing that Clover pointed out to Pappy. Has anyone fixed that yet?
At Clover WS, she noticed while playing the game that Deadeye has mentioned that one of his eyes is dead, gone, but the other eye is covered up.
Mm-hmm.
So she simply messaged Pappy and said, "Hey, what's going on here?" And Pappy's like,
Stuff.
Because
incoming.
yeah, because I believe the lore
Something.
said it was his left eye, and then all of the animations and all of the actual characters, it was the right eye, or vice versa, one or the other. It was really funny.
I'm pretty sure someone aspired, which is why Hilligen got promoted.
I'm pretty sure it's just like a tactic to throw off his enemies.
Exactly.
Like in that brief second where they're like, "Wait, I thought it was his other eye," and then they get like shot in the head, and they go, "Well, that didn't work out too well
Split
for
second
me."
decision. You're dead.
So on that, Anniversary Roust Hour.
Candy is yummy.
Data mine. So we mentioned a few weeks ago, we talked about Invasion Nexus PTR stuff. There is an anniversary present happening to every player who has been on for a year or has been there for the first year of play.
Aww.
But the prize is a new pet. So everyone's going to get one pet if you've been here for a year. It's called the Anniversary Roused Hour.
You sound so silly when you try to say
It's
that.
hard to pronounce.
Yeah, it is.
Anniversary Roused Hour.
That's close. Anniversary door.
It just looks like the Roused Hour crossed. It looks like someone graffitied on a Roused Hour and slapped it with a giant candy cane or lollipop.
What it really looks like is that somebody took a rouse jar and then went into Photoshop and just smashed the keyboard and then put a lollipop on its nose.
No, all right. Since you two all had your version of it, it looks like Krug after a party.
The big baggy eyes.
No. Its eyes aren't bloodshot enough.
So wait, honest question: has anyone ever seen a lollipop? Like,
Hold on. Is that your honest question? Has
That's my
anybody
honest question.
ever seen a lollipop?
This weird sheep alien thing has a giant lollipop on its face. I have never seen a lollipop in real life in my life. I'm 27 years old.
You've never seen I call total bullshit on that, dude.
Any like video games and cartoons and shit. I've never actually seen a lollipop in person.
I'm
It's an
baffled.
honest question. I've never seen
Doc,
one.
the first convention we go to, I'm bringing you a giant lollipop. And I don't mean that in any way other than candy, okay? Don't even go there. I know what you're all thinking. I'm just talking about candy.
Anyway, not just one pet, but 2 pets have been unleashed this week. And I think this is probably one of the cutest pets they've made so far. And it is called the War Piglet. And we're putting the link out in the description. It is being data mined. Both of these creatures could cease to exist.
So, you know the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer story where there's one reindeer that just looks a little bit different from the rest and they all shun him? This looks like the Zergling version of that. It looks like a fat, chubby Zergling.
I just wonder why.
Or it looks like the War Pig, but in baby version.
Nope. Looks like a fat, chubby Zergling to me.
Okay.
That's what it looks like to me.
Why does it have a goatee? It looks like
It does have a goatee.
It's the weirdest thing. I don't mind the fact that it has like spider eyes, 6 eyes,
Redneck.
but it's got. It's a good old boy piglet. It's actually pretty cute though.
Get this.
It's obviously the
Get
piglet
this.
for the war pig you get, which is really cool. Also, I kind of want the war pig.
Did they say how we get this?
They have not mentioned it, but I'm going to go out on a limb based on the name. It's going to be associated with war plots.
Ooh.
That pet, because pets are exclusive to what kind of content you've done.
Nope.
There are pets you can only get with renown.
Mm-hmm.
There are
And
pets you can
prestige.
and prestige. There are pets you can only get through accomplishing certain tasks, and there are certain pets you can only get when you've. I think they come from boom boxes too. I think some are rare drops as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if the war piglet only shows up in the war plots. You just get all mad that I mentioned a pet could only be available through boombox.
Yeah.
Because there is shit from boomboxes that I still have not gotten, and I have opened up all 1 bajillion of my boomboxes.
I still have tons of boomboxes because I've stopped opening them. I'm waiting for the boombox drop that just makes boomboxes useful. They're gonna be like, this is drop 6. We're just turning all your boomboxes into useful things. Okay, thanks, Carbine. Appreciate that.
Also, to chat, yes, I've been to many good candy stores. Still never seen a lollipop. 2.
Hold on. Well,
When's the last time
if you've really been to that many candy stores and you've never seen a lollipop,
Wait, hold on. No, the question isn't lollipop. The question is
We have one
a
question that's
lollipop
answered.
that shaped?
no.
Right? Because you've seen
That can solve the
suckers.
problem. All that needs to happen.
Everyone's seen a sucker or the spiral lollipops. I've seen those, but I've never seen the round Cartoon Network style. Ones where Daffy Duck puts it in his mouth and it twists his head around. Yes.
Let me take you to the candy shop.
Oh no!
Lollipop.
Oh, that shush.
Oh, baby girl, don't you stop.
Uh,
So you hit that spot. Whoa!
You go to Disneyland on a regular basis.
I've never seen a lollipop at Disneyland. I don't go to the candy
This topic. Can we move on from this topic? I'll keep singing that song if we don't move on from this
Okay,
topic.
yes. Okay, to chat to our listeners. Legit question. When is the last time you've opened up a boombox? And what did you get inside it? Because myself, the last one I opened up was 2.5 months ago, and it was another freaking prestige potion.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what you need in life.
When PvP was dead.
Yeah.
It just sat there for 2 months.
Yep.
I can't. Can't make me. No.
All right, move on.
Okay.
So I think the next thing is kind of a big one, but we're actually not going to talk tremendously about it this week because we need to digest it and just kind of go over it, which is the patch notes that came out on 4.2.
Give us a week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll dissect it then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this week is just just too much going on.
I will point out one thing about the PTR, which is under the character section. There's a change that says all foot wipe and then parentheses poo shoe stand variations have been removed from the human females, and I just like that they called wiping your feet poo shoe.
Is it like an idol animation? I've never seen that either.
I don't know.
Is it a new emote? I don't know.
It really doesn't make sense to me. I just like the words poo shoe.
But it's really, really big. And chat right now, if you listen to the MP3, they're like, yeah, I haven't opened one up in a long time. All mine are gone. And someone said, yeah, today. It was a freaking minor reputation last. Oh, yeah. We'll definitely dissect patch notes this coming week. We'll give you the highlights. God.
The headlights of tomorrow.
Today. Anyway, 2 more, possibly 3 things to talk about because they're actually pretty big. I'm gonna go with the second one first because Carbine had its 10th birthday this week.
God damn you! God, I hate you. I had the chat all prepared and ready to go.
Think on your feet, buddy.
Gotta be a huge dick. Anyway, sorry.
For those that don't know, Carbine is 10 years old today. That seems really odd to people that game development. Why is a development team that only has one game 10 years old?
Because it takes that long.
MMOs take forever to make.
Yup.
Especially when you're trying to aim for the fences.
Yeah.
And you succeed on like most of it.
And you do like a decent job.
You do pretty fucking good.
Or you say, we're going to add more shit, and everyone else goes, oh my god, we have to add more shit.
Yeah.
You change your name, and you change your development course, and you rechange your game completely and start from scratch. A lot of stuff happens in 10 years. So, the good through the bad, Carbine is now 10 years old. That's actually pretty cool.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, seriously, Pappy had some tweets on it. Did they get... I wonder if they got anything cool. Like,
you know what I think we should do? I didn't talk to you guys about this before, but I think we should do it. I think we should sing them happy birthday right now. Please? Please?
Happy birthday to you.
First of all, we can't. It's a copywritten song.
Actually, technically it's not, but they'll still
crap.
money for it.
Bull crap, happy birthday is copywritten.
This is the week of random tangents. And I'm going to go through this real fast. Those motherfuckers know they don't actually have a right to that song, and yet they still put out cease and desist, and they still claim for money, and everyone's too scared to go against them because they will lose for some weird-ass reason.
Who's them?
I think it's like CBS or NBC owns the right to have to say.
Fuck that. Really hard.
Yeah, because for some weird thing, but actually isn't the case. A court found out a few years ago. It wasn't the case, but they still get money from it because people are assholes.
Anyway, anyways, whatever. We won't sing happy birthday then. Thanks, CBS or NBC or whoever the fuck is an asshole. Sorry,
I'm gonna laugh if it's neither of them.
Okay, well then, whoever it is then. Next thing that we can't be happy with because of copyright law.
Yeah, fuck copyright law. For the most part. Just don't steal our images. Anyway, happy birthday. Here's too many more awesome anniversaries.
Yes.
I kind of want to hope we get to 15 or 20. It'd be nice. Just saying.
Okay, calm down there, buddy. Just keep going and stop sounding so depressed about it. Maybe it will happen. I hope we make it to 11.
Because they don't have the artists, apparently. See that segue?
Yeah, that was good and shitty at the same time.
Yeah, it was just shitty.
Yeah.
Anyway, for everyone on the internet that draws better than I do, and everyone on the internet has friends that draw better than I do, Carbine is actually hiring right now. Obviously, they're not asking us to do this. I just found this interesting, and I know there are a lot of people in the internet and the breadth and scope of it who like the game or just need a job because the economy sucks in general. They're looking for a UI artist and a UI designer. We can put a link in there. The one big prerequisite is that they would like people to apply that have already published a game before.
Yes.
And
So specifically, at least 1 year of experience in whatever role on a shipped title. So it can't just be, I worked on a game that never saw the light of day. Like, it has to be something that actually got out into the public.
yeah, so even if it's technically, I guess, like a iOS game that's been launched, you could technically put on a resume.
Well, in that case, Doc. Oh no! It was Krug's character on The Sims that was making games. Damn.
So Krug's character could get a job working as UI artist.
Yeah. My character's so cool.
So we just wanted to give the heads up on that because I know people would. I'd love to see who can bring more awesome stuff to the table for this game. And people need jobs, man.
So the reason why I really liked this post, and I'm glad that you put it on here, not necessarily because, yay, people need jobs, but the reason I really liked it and the reason why I'm happy you put it on there is because it shows, like, they're looking for a UI designer or a UI artist, which makes me think that they're really trying to associate their UI, which is something that we all talk about on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I'm super psyched at that. That means that they know that this is an issue and that they're moving forward on it and that it's not just like putting it on the back burner. They are actually looking for it.
And you'd be surprised how many times games, especially MMOs, change their UI and you don't even realize it. When they have to add new stuff to it, when they add new features.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with them changing it again as long as they change the whole thing. That's all I want. I just want the whole thing to change, the whole thing to be cohesive. Like, another example is Smite did a UI overhaul, and it's the same exact problem. Like, they changed a lot of it to look cohesive and good, but there were just bits of it, like important bits of it, that were still the old UI, and it was just like, this looks ugly and out of place, and I don't like it, and I want to
what happens in game development is you start looking at the way your players play the game, and the way your developers create the game, and you start to streamline and cut out features or extraneous stuff that you thought looked really cool but really weren't that practical or useful when they started playing it. Like, we noticed it with the very first iteration of the UI for WildStar. They had a really cool pyramid scheme in the center that was compact, it was really cool, but it made combat really difficult.
Yeah.
UI looked great. It looks fine. It made sense until it went into practice and like, well, you can't see behind you. What happens if you're playing a melee class?
Yeah.
You can't see telegraphs, so we had to change it. And then now we see recently with like nameplates changing for being able to condense cast bars, so you're not constantly seeing random crap flying on your screen. It's a very interesting art field to get into. It's a very interesting problem-solving field to get into.
Yeah. So,
I would say if you think you can do it, or you have a friend who knows you can do it, pass that along to them. I might try applying because.
And I'll even add something to that. If you or your friend end up getting this job because you heard it from STOS, be sure to let everybody at Carbine know where you heard the job. And also, be sure to send all of your emails that you get from Carbine to us.
Just in general.
Just in general, all of them. It'd be great. It'd be very helpful to us to steal all your emails. Thank you very much.
I don't think stealing your emails is the best, but I would say if you do get it and you heard from STOS, you definitely need to go in there and go like, you know what you guys need to do? Those guys over at STS really love you guys. You guys should like do exclusive interviews with those guys.
Or like invite them over for slumber parties.
Yes, slumber parties.
Hold on. I was in until you said slumber parties.
No. Well, fine. Doc and I will go for slumber parties. You can stay.
Yeah, you know how awesome that'd be when it's just me and they go in our PJs with like time travel and Hilden just sitting there.
Like,
stories, playing Truth or Dare,
and then we're like, all right, guys, we're gonna,
guys,
and Pappy's there, and he's like, I got a story for you guys. Come sit down. We all sit around in a circle, and he tells us scary stories of Nexus.
I'm not actually bald.
Guys, I just got an email to the STOS email address. There's now a restraining order against you for Carbine, so I think that's kind of out. Sorry.
Oh man, yeah, I definitely. You know what? There's some talk about it in chat from some people that are artists or have some art backgrounds, and there's an interesting little thing about entry level positions and senior level positions that is far beyond the gaming podcast that we are. But it's a very interesting conversation to have nonetheless. But we probably shouldn't have it now because that just goes into weird tangents that we might not be able to properly explain.
Speaking of weird tangents, John F. Siegsack is the owner of Happy Birthday.
Cool.
Who?
Congratulations to him.
John F. Siegsack. He acquired it in 1932 and has given it to his son. He is dead, but his son has it now. So, and then who is the former Warner Brothers Music Group? So there you go.
I don't think anybody gives a fuck, dude.
I'm just saying.
So the Warner Music Group.
I snopes that shit. And I apparently killed the group by saying I snopes it. What the hell just happened? That was awkward.
Well, we could talk about one more thing that's kind of cool, or we could just call it a short podcast for the night.
No.
Should hit the last thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you're tired, but ball up, man.
Well, basically, we've hit a lot of the major points this week, and the PTR notes are so massive that the last time it took us an hour with 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just brutal.
Yeah.
So we might even get some extra help with that one next week.
Yeah.
Possibly. So as for this, there was a really cool rumbling that happened this week, and someone I was talking to about this today was mentioning how awesome that this news is happening in the first place. For those of you that don't know, Twitch or streaming, a very prominent World of Warcraft streamer named Towley. He, from what I hear from other people that have met him at cons and whatnot, he's really fucking cool. He's super chill. I've watched his stream quite a few times whenever I play WoW. Even now, I don't play WoW anymore, but I would definitely watch his stream. He is a really cool guy. He talks to his community. He's really interactive, and he's been jokingly talking about going into playing WildStar because he played it in beta, I think it was, or a little run launch, and then dropped out for what a lot of people agreed with. It was like, guys, the game's not where I want it to be. I'm not having fun. I'm gonna go back to WoW. And Hammers Up, if you've ever been to Tally stream, he's just a really cool guy. And I guess on a whim, he's like, hey, I'm gonna start streaming again. He started popping out, and apparently it was a hit. People were popping in, they were talking about it, they weren't being negative about it. Carbiners were coming in and doing it, and just the news of it spread pretty quickly in a day. And I was a little torn about it, and I want to know what you guys think about this too, because I have nothing against Tally. He's a fantastic streamer. He's a really cool guy, and I would like to meet him. I'd like to have a beer with him. I guess I'm a little... what's the right word? Disappointed or sad. He got a lot of... In 24 hours, he had a lot of exposure. It was popping all over Twitter. And yet, a few months ago, we had Victorious Failures do the Failure to 50 stream. And there was maybe one or two mentions of it. We tried our best to help promote it as well as it was happening. And we've mentioned them a few times since then. Mm-hmm. But it didn't seem like people cared. And Failure to 50, they didn't talk a whole lot, at least to the community. But they were very talkative, and they had personalities. They were pretty cool guys. And like I said, I'm taking us out of the equation because we're not streaming gameplay for the most part. We're just a streaming podcast show.
Sure.
I guess I was disappointed that all the focus is on Tally. Awesome, cool, great personality streamer, but there wasn't much love to...
Well, I mean, welcome to the entertainment industry. Like, when you have an audience, you have that audience. And no matter what you do, you're going to get attention. If you don't have an audience, it's hard to get attention. Like, it would be great if there could be, like, equal exposure for people doing good content, regardless of whether it's new or old or... like whether it's WildStar or WoW, but that's not how it works. Like, I don't expect people to make it work that way. You know what I mean?
And someone put this into perspective for me was like, hey, well, we've had a shift in the way that we're promoting, or the Carbine is promoting the game and its streamers and its fan art. So maybe this is the beginning of their first big push to really put the news out there to, hey, these guys are streaming the game. Hey, these guys are doing this.
Well, you're talking about how they went about it once Tally said he was doing it. You're not talking about Tally himself being a part
not
of
Tally himself.
Oh,
no.
okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of gone about.
I wanted to make
it was a lot of exposure, which I totally freaking loved. It just kind of I felt a little sad that we have streamers now. They don't get big numbers, but they still stream. Part of the reason why they might not have good numbers is they're not personable. Mm-hmm. But even the ones that don't get big numbers and aren't really given a shout out. And someone put it in perspective to me and saying ever since they've had a switch in community lead and a more stable community team, there's been more mentions of streamers, more mentions of fan art, more mentions of active community or active events. So maybe it's just I just remember the old and the new way of doing it.
And honestly, like having a large name in streaming, I mean, he's a lot of people appreciate him as a streamer, and I have no issue with that whatsoever. Anyone, hell, if PewDiePie, that guy came over to
PewDiePie. Sorry, I'm probably gonna get sued for that.
Came over to WildStar and brought a whole bunch of people over to WildStar. You have to realize that it's a what is it? It's a lasting effect. So, for example, he comes over, or he or she, a large streamer, comes over, starts playing the game. People see the game. Again, I noticed that people in chat were saying, well, it wasn't that great because all they're doing is bitching about buy to play. But what it's doing is it's exposing the game to these people who wouldn't necessarily be interested in the game, but because someone that they appreciate or that they like are playing the game, they go, well, maybe I'll look at it. Yeah. Oh, well, maybe I'll try a month of subscription. I'll just get cred. I'm really enjoying this game. This is a lot of fun. I'm going to keep playing this game. And then you get those numbers. Yeah, they may be bitching about, this needs to be buy to play because whatever reasoning behind it. But, I mean, those people exist in WoW, and that game's, running strong. So, I mean, whatever kind of content that they were talking about, the problems that they're bitching about in chat, they can turn around and that is exposing a small percentage. So something I always tell Krug is like, okay, if we send something out, I expect 10% of the people that see it interact with it. So, for example, if we pay for a post that goes out to 100 people, I expect 10 people are going to either click on it or actually write or actually do something about it. But everyone saw it. And if you have 100,000 people in a stream, that's an absurd number, I am aware. If you have 1,000 people in a stream, seeing 10% of those people are going to go, well, I'll try the game out. It's a 10-day free trial going out right now. Why not? I'll try it. And then that 10% of that number actually stays with the game. So it just increases and it helps the whole entire game. It helps the population. And it will help us as well because those people are starting to enjoy the game and then they go, well, I want to figure out what's going on with the game and what's going on with patch notes and what's going on with this, what updates are happening. And then they go, oh, well, STOS does STOS Live every week and they're giving us the news and reviews and all that other stuff that's going on. I'll just watch them. And then that helps us. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're not the ones turning around and getting the stardom and going, oh my God, S2S is amazing. Or, Failures to 50, those guys were rocking. But those guys are going to get a ripple effect from a large presenter coming in,
Yeah. Sorry, you said quite a bit that I agree with, so I have much to contribute to that. And someone in chat pointed out that, hey, there's actually a bigger name streamer that's still, or as big a name a streamer as Tally that we've overlooked. At least I personally overlooked. I didn't realize that he was streaming it. I believe he goes by the name of
PewDiePie?
No, QMB Saints. PewDiePie! QMB Saints was streaming as well, and he's from what CK Jester was saying, he's just as informative, he's just as personable as Tally. So it's just awesome that we're getting not only Tally only because he's the big name. It's kind of like talking about the giant in the room, but the fact that QMG Saints is going about it and Victorious Failures is going about it. The fact that we're getting more personable names and the fact that they're getting proper exposure from the community, that's what I'm really happy about. I guess I was just sad and I realized the difference a few months has made in the exposure of the community.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's exactly what we've wanted as a community.
And I'm super excited about it. I'm so happy. Even the joke that I made at the very beginning about the guys that were turning around like, what drop? Is this drop 5 the fact is that it's popping. There's a larger community. The fact that PvP is, on average a 1 to 2 minute wait in the afternoons is amazing. And, all of this has a huge effect as a whole in the community and how the community is coming in and supporting and pushing through. I love all of it.
So I'm just tapping this one real fast.
Oh yeah. Let's wait. Everyone else.
Let's just slow down so I can make sure that Oblong Ship had his proper shout out.
Yeah, Oblong Ship, you derailed this podcast worse than I have ever done.
Doesn't matter. He contributed more because he likes the podcast. You just constantly derail it. I'd rather have Oblong do that. I'd rather have Oblong interrupt me and go, look.
Oblong, do you want to just take the spot over? Like this whole window? Because...
Look, here's the thing. We got tired of this shit a few weeks ago.
Whoa, what are you talking about?
I'd say we were done.
What are we talking about?
That's it. I was done. I was getting ready to pop on out, and so was Indigo, and fucking Krug never has a 50. Never fucking 50. Never.
Yeah.
So we're like, God damn it, what are we going to do? Like, I can't do this anymore. It's bullshit. And then Behalter and Avid Goo were like, guys, we can't do this either. Like, this is fucking bullshit. And we were like, dude, this is amazing. What we should do, like, just to reinvigorate everything is, one, kick you out. Calling you out right now on stream. And fucking bring in some actual talent.
Wow.
Mind you,
First of all, I'm going to refer you to my manager, Rabid. She can take all of those questions and deal with them. I'm not legally entitled to answer those questions. They all have to go through my management. Second of all,
do you pay her enough? Because you're not that funny.
So we should actually end the stream. We should actually end the stream talking about that because that was hilarious. So last week, it was April Fool's Day.
No, it was this week. Last week, you're right.
Last week, yeah.
Recording, yeah.
So last week was April Fool's Day, and Beholter shoots Doc and myself and Avid a tweet and says,
And he tries to
"Guys."
shoot Krug one, but Krug wasn't following him.
Yes.
Scrub. I'm a Twitter scrub still.
So he hadn't followed them, and he's like, "All right, guys, I got an April Fool's Day joke. You guys have to just back me up on this." And then Doc and Avid were like, "We'll see." And I was like, "I'm in. I don't care what it is. I'm down. I'm gonna do this." And so there's this entire stream of tweeting all day on April Fool's Day about what we call it Wild Q, which was
Q.
Doc, Indigo, Avid, and Beholter, the four of us, were going to have our own show, and we were just going to kick Krug out, and we were going to talk about lore and all this wonderful, great stuff. Mind you, I may have said that my eyes have to be taped open so that I could actually stay awake for that, but yeah, it was great.
It was pretty funny. Sorry, I wanted to go. It was a funny thing. We actually might have some fun with them in the future, but
Yeah.
Hopefully, I like those guys.
Yeah, I know those guys are great, and Clover and I were actually pitching an idea back and forth between each other about working with them, and that's something for after the show that we can talk about.
Yeah.
But no, it was hilarious. It was great. It was very, very funny on Beholter's part. It was hilarious.
I like how it broke a few people.
Yeah, oh my god!
It wasn't like, oh my god, Wildcast is gone, or oh my god, Strange Tales is gone. It's like, wait, what? What?
Are you guys?
Actually, it was more like, what happened to Krug? People were actually concerned about you.
So
I
we
didn't
have
get any of that. All I got was finally Krug's gone. # destroy.
No. So the Q Times group has a Facebook chat that we use to talk to each other on a regular basis, so that we know, hey, can you review this, or I'm thinking about doing this, blah blah blah, whatever, doesn't matter. So that went out, and a couple of the members were like, "Whoa, is this an April Fool's joke, or is this serious?" And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna troll you right now." Oh yeah, it's 100% true. Well, what about Krug? And we're just like, "Well, Krug stopped playing the game." So like, our motto at Q Times is, if you're not passionate about the game, then you don't create content about it.
You to be here.
And so they're like, "Oh my god, is he okay?" I'm like, "Well, he's not left Q Times. He's just not going to produce content." And in fact, it was his idea, and they were just losing their mind. It was hilarious.
It was my best.
It was literally the best.
It was funny. Anyway, that was April Fool's. That was pretty good. I think we still have the Wild Q logo on Twitter too. Anyway, whatever. We're going to leave it at that for the audio podcast for the week. Mm-hmm. And if you guys, I'd love to hear your guys' questions, or at least your responses about LFR, and reply to that thread we put the link up. It would be great to hear what you guys think about it. As for Strange Tales from Outer Space, episode 39, I have with me Krug.
I am Krug!
I have Indigo.
Indigo!
And if you want to catch us, go to qtimes.com, look for STOS, look for @_strange tales, strange_tales on Twitter, all of our respective Twitters. And that is it for this week. Everyone have a good time.
Yay!
And that is the official audio for that week.
I appreciate that gap